Hi, friends. Thanks so much for joining us today. It is the sixth day of the month, and we are in Proverbs, the sixth chapter, looking at the 16th verse through the 19th verse. 19th verses, 16 through 19. And it talks about the things that the Lord hates. Proverbs 6, 16 through 19. Verse 17 talks about a proud look, basically overestimating ourselves and underestimating others, just to make ourselves feel good, putting other people down, a proud look. The second thing is a lying tongue, self-explanatory, something that we lie about. It's an untruth, someone who tells an untruth, someone who tells a lie. That is the second thing. The third thing, hands that shed innocent blood, not only physically, but also, I believe, spiritually and emotionally and physically. Shedding innocent blood, basically tearing down someone's character, basically pointing someone out and saying negative things about them and bringing up the negative things about them to someone else, basically shredding their reputations, shedding their reputations, or shredding it, I should say, to someone else, even if those things are untrue. When we look back, and I just want to pause for a second, when we look back at the first three things that we talked about, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a proud look talks about the condition of the heart. God is concerned about the condition of our hearts. A lying tongue has to do with the things that we say, the things that come out of our mouths. And hands that shed innocent blood, it has to do with the things that we do. Now, on to the fourth thing, a heart that manufactures wicked thoughts and plans. That has to do with what's happening internally. Now, when we talk about a heart that manufactures, when you think about a manufacturing plant, that's a place where they put things together, where they assemble things, where they take the time to make sure the pieces fit right. In order to make that product work. Well, it says that a heart that manufactures wicked thoughts and plans, someone who invents, someone who sits back and meticulously puts together an evil plan and thoughts towards someone. God has his eye on that. He sees that. And again, that has something to do with what's happening internally. The next thing, feet that are swift to running to evil. That has to do with where we go. People who are running to things that are not good, things that are deceitful, those seedy conversations that we can get into. It says feet that are swift, running to evil, running to those areas or into those conversations or into those relationships that we know aren't good, that sometimes we do just because we want to connect with certain people. But God sees all of that. The next thing, a false witness who breathes out lies. Again, that has to do with the things that we say. Bearing false witness means that we're making up things about someone, and it is false. When you go into a court of law, you're a witness for what you saw. Whatever that crime is, whatever that issue is, whatever you're sitting on the stand and you're telling the judge, I'm a witness and I'm going to tell you what I saw. Well, when we bear false witness towards someone, that means that we're making up things. And basically it goes hand in hand with a lying tongue. One of the second things that we mentioned, we are not telling the truth about an individual. God sees that. It says a false witness who breathes out lies. Now, the next one says, he who sows discord among the brethren. That's someone who has basically, you walk into a place of peace and then you come in and wreak havoc. Basically, you cause upheaval. You cause people to have strife towards one another. Somebody who sows discord is someone who will maybe backstab, or someone who will tell one person one thing and then tell another person another thing and cause those two individuals not to like each other. That's sowing discord among the brethren. And God sees that. You know, the writer in Proverbs tells us and encourages us to keep God's commandments and keep his laws. Tells us to bind them around our heart, or bind them in our heart, and also to tie them around our neck, to make sure that we hold fast to the things that God has called us to do and to hold on to those commandments. I want to make a recap real quick and just point out a few things on all of these things that I mentioned, the 6 things that the Lord hates. A lot of these things are things that we can walk away from. A lot of these things are things that we can control. A proud look, has to do with the condition of the heart. The more we get into the presence of God, the more the condition of our heart changes. The more we get into the word, the more the condition of our heart changes. That is something that we can control. A proud look, a lying tongue, that has to do with the things that we say. We can control what comes out of our mouths. We can control what we say. The responsibility or the ability is in our hands. The next thing, hands that shed innocent blood. That has to do with the things that we do. We can control the things that we do. We're not wind up toys where somebody just winds us up and then we just go and operate automatically. We can control exactly what we do. The power is in our hands. The next thing, a heart that manufactures wicked thoughts and plans. That has to do with what's going on internally, as I said earlier. But again, we can control that. Whether or not we're manufacturing wicked thoughts and plans, we can control our thoughts. We can change our thoughts towards someone. And here's the best way. When there's someone that you don't particularly care for, or someone who has done you wrong, the best way to get over that and to let it go is to begin to pray for them. And I mean wholeheartedly pray for them. I have done it. I'm not telling you something that I haven't done. I know that it is not easy. And when you start out with those prayers, it might be something, like, yeah, God bless them and let me move on. Nothing that's heartfelt at all. I'm telling you, I've been there. But once you get into seeing that you're praying for that person and whatever's in your heart is changing, because the bottom line is God wants us to have clean hearts and hearts that are pure and hearts that are open to him. And so one way to get that junk out of it is to pray for that other person. We can control that. I'm telling you, everything that is listed, the power is in our hands. Feet that are swift running to evil. We can control where we go. That has to do with the places that we go. And God sees that. A false witness who breathes out lies. Again, it has to do with what we say. We can control what we say. And the last one, he who sows discord among the brethren. It has to do with what we do, the intention of the heart. Now here's your pearl of wisdom for today. We have the power to stay away from the things that the Lord hates, as described in Proverbs 6, the 16th through the 19th verses. We have the power to stay away from it. We've got the power to do it. That's your pearl of wisdom today. And we know that keeping God's commandments will keep us on the right track. You've got the power. You can do it. Ask God to help you every step of the way. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and share it with a friend. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.